Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and fans of disc golf. Welcome to the Wolfpack Disc Fantasy League weekly recap. This week, talking about the United States Women's Disc Golf Championship. And here is your host, Brian Papa Wolf Frawley.
Zach, I thought you were gonna do it. I was really interested, but hey, everybody, welcome back. We had some disc golf this weekend. Only half a slate, but a major half a slate, if you will. No MPO division on the Pro Tour. MPO division happening at other places, but this weekend was all about the ladies at the United States Women Disc Golf Championship. Two courses for FPO. I did enjoy getting to watch a little bit of both, although I will be honest, I was attending someone's wedding this weekend, so I missed most of Saturdays.
Whose
Congrats
wedding was
to
it?
congrats to Mr. Andrew Marweed and his beautiful bride Lindsay. They signed nuptials this weekend. Had a good time up there, up north, as we say. It was a good
Oh,
time.
yeah. Don't you
Good
know?
time for sure. But before we go too far into this, I have to ask some rules as the commissioner.
Hmm.
How many do we need to have a quorum?
I would say the only people that are still playing in this league.
Okay. Well, since we
So
have
you got most of them.
so we got three out of five here. So I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready for my motion?
Yeah, motion to the floor. Go for it.
Well, thank you for the floor. I appreciate that. I would like to permanently ban and publicly disgrace Zachary. Uh, I I'm an honest
You
man. Excuse me, you'll have your time to speak. I am an honest man. Jack Frawley raised me to be an honest man. And I would never try to put three FPOs in a lineup uh, this weekend. And that, sir, is not very polite. And
We,
it does hurt my um, you know, hurt my thoughts, my overall love of this because as you can see, oh, as I'm messing up the screen, trying to do this one-handed, we turn over to our results this week and we see that Zach went 13-0. Congratulations. But Zach played three women at the
I, s- I
women's
s-
championship.
I just see a Zoom page. I don't think you're on the.
Oh, I'm not on the right thing. Hold
I don't.
on.
I don't think so.
Hold on. Well, is that there? Is that better now?
There you go.
Okay, we see that Zach started Owen Scoggins, Evelina, congratulations to her,
mhm, mhm,
and
mhm.
Rebecca Cox. That's three women that played in this event. Richard, how many women did you get to play in this event?
I only started two, and if I'm just going to say right now, if he got to start three, then we all get to have our third,
Well,
or he only gets two.
that's very kind of you. I motion, and my official motion is that Zach is banned from this year. He is removed of any sort of friendship until the end of the year, as well. Yeah, this hurts. You're a cheater, Zach. And he will be publicly disgraced with all 17 people that watch this show. So that I've made my motion. I'm looking for a second, or we will not pass this motion. But Zach, go ahead and give your points while the judge Richard will listen to you squabble.
I second. No, I'm
Okay.
kidding.
That's
No.
validated.
So here's the
Validated.
thing. For the three girl thing, right? Here's how this happened. I clicked in Evelina because I locked her in for sure. She's my best girl. I put
Yep.
Yep.
in Own, and then I was like going back and forth between Rebecca and Own in my head, and I clicked on Rebecca again, and it's like gave me a list of names I could replace with, and it gave my guys names. I'm like, I can just add her, sure, and I just did. And I thought the app was gonna freak out and remove her or something, and it just stood there. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna change that. We're just gonna leave that sitting there. And so I was very fortunate to be able to have three guys this week. I will say that even if Rebecca had not played and you put a guy in that spot, I still would have won by 75 points with Evelina and Own, based on the live scoring that I'm looking at, to second place. So Rebecca didn't make or break me this weekend. The record wouldn't have changed. The points, I have 140 more points, which don't matter, as we've all learned, or I've painfully learned this season. So I mean, I don't think it changed anything. I still would have won this week, but I understand your frustration. I get it. I understand.
I want to still have three women, then out of one.
Who was your third?
Valerie. She got 347.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'd have
So,
cooked.
so that's what I'm saying. We should all get three then.
You should have checked.
I didn't think we were doing. All right, here's my thing. Last week we said two. We all said we're going to play two women.
I didn't even
That's all I
think
got.
that you could. Like I have never had the
Oh,
experience
sorry,
where I clicked a
officer.
button.
I didn't know this cocaine was illegal. I just found it.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
You didn't think to message us and say, "Oh, by the way, we can do three this week. That'd be fun." No, he just went with it.
Correct. I did do that.
And as the prosecuting attorney in this case, I would also like the court to know that he not only did this week, but he had coerced many other players into trading their best players to him as well, in hopes that he could come back and dethrone me and beat you, Richard.
That part I can't have any. I don't know. Whoever's giving them players, not cool. But there's no rule against that. They paid their money; they're just giving up. But I think any court of law would rule against the three players thing, unless everybody knew that, because we do have on video saying we're going to play two women. So
All right.
We do have video
we have,
evidence.
we have video evidence to suggest.
Not denying that.
All right. Well, I will get rid of my case. I will drop my case in exchange for a well-worded apology posted on your Facebook.
Okay.
Linking obviously this once it comes out.
I have a question.
Please addressing Richard and myself in that.
100%.
Yes, go ahead.
100 words or more? Or does it have to be limited?
I want people to feel the emotion. So however many words you need to express your express your apology for cheating. For basically ruining the game. You ruined the game. You took your ball. You took your ball and you went home early.
7th place Zac is ruining the game.
I'm glad that this is a lesson to all those hungry go-getters out there that if you cheat, you're gonna get caught. And I would hope that you would want Sebastian to do the same thing, that if he was caught cheating, he would be honest to the group.
Yeah. Be a good example. Be a good example.
Trying to tug at my heartstrings. That's brutal.
I didn't tug. I went right at them, motherfucker.
So I had a little issue that is admittedly my fault, but last week I had Silva and Valerie playing.
Yes.
So I didn't even look at my lineup, and it automatically put Sophia in instead of Valerie. I did not change that. Valerie admittedly was an alternate, so that was put in on its own. But then I figured she'd just stay there.
Richard is saying that the computer magically changed something for him.
Yes, last week I had Sylvia and Valerie was put in automatically as the alternate. This week, Sophia was put in as the alternate. But I just thought Valerie was going to stay there. I don't know why, because that's what the lineup was last week.
Nope, it was just alternates were put in, which means you haven't adjusted your lineup since prior to 6/13 is what you're saying is you're complaining that randomness happened twice and you didn't like the outcome of the second time.
But wouldn't they choose the same alternate? Why'd they choose a different?
No, that's not my department. I don't make the game, but I do follow the rules, unlike you two.
I looked at my lineup from I looked at my lineup from last week. It was
But you didn't check your lineup for this week. You looked at an older lineup. That's what you're telling the court.
I'm looking at what I had in the lineup last week, and I figured it would be the same. I don't know why. That's weird, right?
Well, you made an assumption, and
my
kindergarten mother would tell you, my kindergarten teacher mother would tell you that you know what happens when you assume.
Yeah. That's my only beef. I know that's me being lazy, but I definitely in my head all weekend was watching.
Well, hey, you still went 9-4. Not bad against a guy that cheated. You know what I mean?
I would almost beat the cheater if not. Whatever.
Hey, if I didn't cheat, he still would be 9-4.
Well, if he cheated, he would have been better than you. That's what he's saying.
No, if he would have done his due diligence, he would have beaten me, even with my cheating. Like.
Fair enough.
About that. I don't know about that. I did also realize now that we're in June, I mean, this is just dead air anyways, really. Now that we're in June, uh, I would think that uh, I would figure out now that we really, I know I'm trying to get there, man. It's been a long day. I'm really hot. It's hot in Michigan, dude.
I'm sweating.
Dude, there's a moist layer on my skin, and I'm in a basement right now. Um, yeah, but anyways, I got distracted, and I don't even know where that was going, but welcome to ADHD. Sidebar,
Hello.
I was in an interview on Friday with a company, very cool company. I won't say who it was until we find out more information, but yeah, I literally said, well, ADHD, it's a lot of fun right in the middle of the interview. And both of the people over there instantly were like, all right. Yeah.
Yep, same.
Yeah. All right. Well, Zach put in like information in the sidebar, like we're supposed to actually be able to have conversations like well-educated adults. Let's see how this is going. Oh God, I hate your number three. Um, let's just go with that. Out of here, Richard, out of a field of 100 MPO players,
Hmm.
where would you place a fictional character that hits about 80% of their fairways, 80% of their C2 in regulation, 50% of C1 in regulation, has about a 50% C1X? Where would you say a MPO player in the field of 100 touring MPOs they would land?
So 50% putting from C1X. That was the last
Yeah.
stat. That's not
Yep.
good. So, um,
And they're only
and
getting
then
there in regulation 50% of the time. And their C2 putt is 15%.
100th.
100th? Okay, last. That's a bold statement.
No, I'd say
Zach,
somewhere middle of the pack, like 50.
middle of the pack like 50. There you go.
Yeah.
For a man that doesn't know anything about stats, it's always fun to ask you that question first. Zachary, who is the person I'm actually talking about that's not an MPO?
So this is
Oh, you didn't
just
say
general
that.
data about Henna after round three. She was leading the tournament with
Leading
these
a major.
stats.
Leading a
Leading a
major with those
major.
stats.
And I asked this question to like 40 people over this week because it just interested me and I was asking a bunch of people, went to a tournament, talked to people there, and some of the answers I got were wild. Some people are like 15th or 20th or top 30, and I'm like thinking
No.
to myself, and I'm like, Calvin Heimberg at Worlds was the number one person off the tee, was number four in putting, and was 8 strokes from the person who won. Like, what are we talking about here? But yeah, I definitely don't think that person would be competing in the MPO context, but in the FPO, I just found it alarming at that. And that narrative kind of picked up too. Like going into the fourth round, they had that graphic talking about the number of C1X missed by the lead card on round three, like 24 or something like that.
I think
And
it
it's
was
just like,
24.
yeah, it's just that was so surprising to me to see those numbers with a person leading the tournament. It's just like that's astounding to me. And then I'm looking at Holland Hanley's stats, and they look pretty normal. She had regular fairway hits. She had a phenomenal circle two putt. I think she putted over 40% from circle two during the tournament, and she ended up losing by 3. And it's just like I just couldn't. I was like trying to figure out where these strokes are happening, but like Evelina, who ended up winning the event, won it the same way she won Worlds, gaining 35.18 strokes off the tee, which is just
Ridiculous.
staggering. Yeah, unbelievable. But Henna was giving her the run for her money through 3 rounds, and these were her stats. I just couldn't believe it when I was
Did
just
you
looking at the numbers.
did you look at OB strokes? That's the only thing I can think of. Like maybe Holland went out of bounds a lot.
Three
Um,
times in the tournament, Holland
oh,
did.
he already got it then. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's sometimes the stats don't tell the whole story.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
stats are stats, and thank goodness this isn't a show just about stats because we
We
don't.
would love it.
We would love it, but we really only use like 3 people for our stats, and we thank those people for doing them. Yeah, speaking of stats, last week I asked both of you to name somebody that wasn't named Kristen or Holland or Evelina, who their winner was going to be. And I believe, and we have video evidence, we can go back and check, but I believe one of us, maybe me, picked Haley King to do well.
Yep.
Mm,
And Zach proposed a
yeah.
question in the chat that said Haley King came out hot. She's top tier. Is she a top tier FPO? Where would you predict she would be ranked if she played a full year on tour? That's a great question. It really is. And, we have seen Haley kind of grow in front of our eyes, those of us that have been fans of the game for a minute there. Um, I think that if she had, everything going on right, both physically and mentally and emotionally, and all those things were aligned, which we hope for everyone that those things are always aligned, that she would be, and I will go out there and say she'll be a top five talent. Um, she just she has it. She's got kind of that inner fire that I think you see in people like Paige. You see in people like Kristen. You see in Holland, although Holland actually has it out and about more maybe than the other ones. But yeah, I personally think she'd be fighting for that top five. It definitely top 10. Zach, what's your thoughts on that?
So I watched all 4 rounds. So I'm on summer vacation, so I have a little more time on my hands. I got to watch a lot of her. She didn't look, to me, crazy impressive off the tee. Her numbers say she was. She gained a ton of strokes off the tee. She didn't look like, oh man, she's on. I mean, she threw OB on some holes where she's going inside lines. Thought she should have gone more hyzer to keep it safe in the OB. Like she made some mistakes here and there. She didn't look crazy impressive. And her exit interview summed up, in my opinion, exactly what the sentiment was. And she said, if I made any of my putts that I'm supposed to, I would have won by a lot and it didn't matter. But instead I lost because I missed a bunch of putts. And like she's just not giving herself any excuses. And I was like, that was it. She missed an 11-footer on what a hole 14 or whatever it was on round 3. And it was just like, there's no excuse to miss that, whether focus or not. She looked normal. Putting looked not great. And she looked dominant in the field. So I think you're absolutely right. I think she'd be very similar to Holland, maybe a position or two under her in terms of competing. So like Holland's in that podium finish consistently all the time. I think Haley is competing for that top 5 week after week outside of having an event where the one round blows her up a little bit. But I don't think she's like in 40th. I think she's taking a top 10 that week. So I do think she's absolutely competing top 5 every week.
Dick?
Yeah, Zach just mentioned that 11-foot putt that she missed in round 3, and she missed a lot of other short ones too in round 3. And we don't tend to remember the missed putts the first 3 rounds, or even like halfway through the 4th round. We remember the missed putts the last 9 holes or so. But we got to remember those missed putts in the 3rd, 2nd, 1st round are just as important as on the last hole. And she can clean that up. She's definitely a top 5. She, I think, throws about as well as anybody. And when she's putting well, she's also very good. But she's got the backhand. She's got a solid forehand, one of the best in the world. And it's just if she wants to do it, she can do it. And that's the thing. You said emotionally, mentally, physically, all 3 need to come together. She a lot of times I think maybe has like 2 out of 3, but not all 3. And if she gets all 3 together, she's very dangerous, as she's showed in the past with some of the majors she's won.
Yeah, that's fair for sure. Speaking of some of the missed putts, we had an interesting stat by DGN thrown up right before the tee on the final round. Zach was kind enough to put these stats in the thing, so let me check to make sure I say it before. The stat they put up said 24 missed putts from C1X in round 3 between the 4 members of the lead card, and then of course some person trying to grasp at fame put that up and clipped it on Disc Golf Discussion, and gets likes and clicks and things like that.
Yeah.
But that's
good job, Zach.
It wasn't Zach on there, trust me. Zach
Yeah.
would bring the conversation to us, but we don't need to bring it to everybody out in the world. But you know, I'm a big positivity wins type guy, and I don't know if you can lead off your final day coverage of a major with that negative of a stat. Dick, tell me what was your thoughts when you saw that?
Yeah, it's just I can see both sides. Right now, I'm enjoying the way that the announcers are treating it more of a real sport and criticizing the players. They're
Okay.
friends with them. They're friends with them still, so it's hard for them. But now they're starting to actually like call them out on their mental game, or call them out on missing all the putts. And so, like if that was the PGA and they'd said, "Well, so and so missed this many putts yesterday," we wouldn't blink an eye at it. Like it's just we're not used to Disc Golf Network being negative towards the players and showing these bad stats. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. But I do appreciate that they're starting to criticize them more. They're starting to treat them like professional athletes and not just their friends. I know disc golf is a more positive sport, but if we're gonna make it mainstream and make it real, there's got to be a little more drama. We got to talk about these things and make it real.
Zachary, anything for the banter of the internet?
Yeah. So I agree that they need to be more like if you don't want that stat posted up on your round, don't do it. Like, be real. Make your putts. You're a professional, full touring. Haley King might be the asterisk here. Pro. You got to make your circle one putts. These
But
are your
isn't
gimmies.
if you're gonna give Haley the asterisk, can you give Evelina the asterisk? Can you give Henna the asterisk?
I'm not gonna give Evelina Helen because Evelina took rest. And Hannah got married, but isn't like walking away from disc golf. She's still like actively practicing, participating. Haley's more of like away from the game. This is in her backyard coming to the game. But like neither here nor there. They need to make their putts. If you don't want that graphic in the air, don't do it. Like make your putts, and it's not a thing. For me though, I actually have the opposite opinion of Dick. I think in rounds 1 through 3, the commentary specifically was just all positive, even when it shouldn't have been. If a person had a bad shot, we're like, oh, that's unlucky. And I'm like, watching the replay and I'm like, she shanked it hard right inside, missed the first tree barely and hit the second tree, and you're telling me unlucky. No, it's a horrible shot. It just is, and that is it said. Now in the fourth round, the commentators matched the energy of that first kind of detail, right? They were like, the putting's got to be better if Haley or Evelina or Henna want to win this championship. They're going to have to do better than 24 missed C1X putts. And I'm like, that's the commentary I want. I want you to hear what it's going to take to win, not try to be like, oh, she made a great run at this putt that landed 14 feet short. Now she has a 10-foot putt to like make this next. It's like, let's not do that. And, like they typed up Evelina at the end of the tournament. This was the putt of the day when she made the 20-footer on whatever was hole 15 or 16. Thought that was a great choice because she had putted horribly, 67% for the tournament. That was a huge putt. I mean, just momentum-wise, it wasn't the most impressive shot, but it was the most important shot, 100%. And they said it that way, too. They didn't say, oh, she's, I think at one point I wanted to just roll my eyes so hard because they're like, she's so locked in. I think they're talking about Henna from long range, and she was 1 of 6 from circle 2. And I'm like, she's not locked in. Like she just isn't. Like you should say that about Holland. She's putting 42% from C2. She's locked in. So I love the commentary day 4. I think it matched that energy a ton. But yeah, the first 3 rounds bothered me a little bit because it just felt like it was always just positivity. I'm like, hold them accountable. Don't want to miss single one putts. Call them out on it. And they did in the beginning. I don't know if I would have put it there. Probably would have put it at the end of round 3, but they put it in there and then they carried that momentum. And I think they did a good job on the last day.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, we're not going to talk about this person, but I just want to say that I think Cadence Burge is the best Circle 2 putter on the FPO side. And that's just a statement I'm throwing out there without looking at stats. Just eye test over the last 3 weeks. We've seen a lot of coverage of her. Really like her putt. Just throwing that out there. But the final question we have today for our discussion point, boys and girls, is Evelina. She won a nice lighthouse there. There at the end, she won U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship. She won Konopiste in 2018. She won Worlds and she won Champions Cup. She has the unofficial Grand Slam. I guess if she knocks out European Open, not at Konopiste, we'll call that an official Grand Slam. But she's kind of got that unofficial Grand Slam right now. If she wins Throw Pink, that'd be pretty interesting too. But let's just leave that out for now. So there's only a few other people that got that. I believe, according to Zach's notes, thank you again, Zach, that it's Paige and Kristen.
Correct.
As on the FPO side, those are the only ones, I believe.
There might be a couple FPOs from older slam, like
non-European slams.
Yeah, I don't know that for certain. They may have a European major win. I'd have to go back and double check that. Like Juliana Korver comes to mind, I think, but
okay.
They're the Grand Slam winners of the modern age, as far as I'm aware. Yeah,
Close to Paige Pierce.
yeah.
Yeah, because Paige has been around forever. We get what you're saying
Yeah.
there, Dick. Totally get that. So, you know, Evelina, uh, you can't shake a stick at what she's done. She's still rather young, in my opinion, I
25.
believe. 25, yeah. Which means she won Kona Day at like 18 or 17, something like that.
Yep, young.
Um,
2018. Yep.
yeah, so um, where is her ceiling? Like
So
where, like, because we watched the game and we know she can
we
do
know.
better.
Yeah, we know.
Where's she going, Zach?
Uh, I think that depends on what the Pro Tour decides to do with FPO courses, because in my opinion, courses have been designed to keep lower rated players more competitive. And like we saw this in MPO, at one point you're playing courses like every week was like Las Vegas. If you're not Calvin Eagle throwing 600 feet, you're losing strokes and like hoping they mess up on the putting green to be competitive. And they were like, oh, this is not good. We need to dial it back a little bit, and some of the other guys extended their distance, and now there's definitely a bigger match and more competitive nature, in my opinion. But in FPO, it feels like they've designed courses for FPO, but in doing so, have cut some distance out of it. And so, like players like Evelina, Paige, Tatar, they don't really get courses anymore where they're like, yeah, I can throw 60, 70 feet farther than everyone on every hole, and that gives me an advantage. So if they felt like they wanted to do that to the FPO and extend distances on courses, Evelina could just win a bunch more majors. She just could, because like Salonen isn't throwing as far as her, so she's going to have an advantage. If they keep it short, compact, where Salonen standstills for 300 feet super downhill, then she can compete with Evelina at any given weekend. So I think her ceiling realistically is two more world titles. That's my ceiling for her. If they
Okay.
extend courses, I would say four more world titles. But I think that's where my mind goes in her window before she turns 33, 34.
I mean, this was
Okay.
a wooded course this weekend, and I look at the top 10. I see Evelina, big arm, Burge, big arm, King, big arm, Hanley, big arm. Those are the top four. So those are some of the biggest arms in the world. You keep going down. Blumross was ninth. I mean, Kristen Latt. I mean, she's good at everything, but she was in sixth. So but the top four, we can all say those are premier arms, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know, just a counterpoint there. That was a
All
wooded
right.
course, and they are the winners. So
All right, we had to toboggan an imaginable Jomez adventure or whatever to toboggan, and you have $1,000, and you have to bet $1,000 of your own personal money in your pocket, taking away from your social life, Dick or Sebastian's Chicken Nuggies fund, Zachary, and you've got the following four players that are playing toboggan.
toboggan, okay,
Okay,
got it.
you have Haley King.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ella Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
You have Silva Serta.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Emily Weatherman.
Mm-hmm.
You have $1,000 of your own money to bet on one of those four players.
How many rounds?
Three?
3 rounds. Emily Weatherman, Haley King, uh, who we
Silva
have?
and
Silva, and
Ella
forgot the
Hansen.
last one. Okay.
oh god, it's not Ella. I probably Haley.
Okay, you got $1,000. You're putting it on Haley. Richard.
I would.
Not a doubt. I think Silva. I'm taking Silva in most tournaments, other than Kristen.
Okay, Silva
I think
can.
she's so hot right now, and she can handle those lines. She keeps it in the fairway. There's a lot of trouble to be had, and she keeps it pretty much
Okay,
in the fairway.
I will bet you guys now. You can have all four of those players. You each have your $1,000 bill, and I have two $1,000 bills. And I am going to bet on Holland Hanley to beat all four of yours. Do you still want to wager that $1,000?
Get all four of the players,
Yeah, you
and
can
you
have
get
all
Holland.
four, and I get home.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, Zachary?
Are we playing Deglo OB?
Yes.
Yes, whatever they play,
Yes.
Deagle. Oh yeah.
Yes, I would keep the 1,000 in.
We shall see in a matter of weeks, no months.
You
Just
heard it here
kidding.
first.
We'll hear it here first when Holland Hanley takes down Deagle this year, and none of those four come in the top five, just for me to make an imaginary $2,000. But
I
that'll be
should have
fun,
bet it, huh?
and that's a few months from now, and we'll worry about that when we worry about that. Zachary, what do you have to say to the people?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should, and I look forward to that Facebook post.
Hey, if you haven't already, what are you doing? Like, subscribe, make sure you follow, all the socials. Make, whether I support it with like Discraft or Great Lakes or what Brian's, Wolfpack Disc, right? Dick and all the crew. You just support it. It's easy. It's a click. It's free. Why aren't you doing it already? Do it. You know you love it when they tease me, so come on, support the seventh place guy. Trade your best player for me. Oh no, that's Russ Guess. I'm sorry. Just like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Richard, we're going 4 rounds against each other this upcoming weekend. Two at Bluegill,
Yeah.
two at Ella Sharp. How many strokes do you beat me by total?
Um, I've never been to Bluegill. Is it tighter? I know. I'm very excited. I'm sorry, Zach, but I'm very excited. Never had an invite, but now I do. I'm very
Zachary,
excited, and I think
we're playing what I would call a tournament level layout, 18 hole
Are you
extended
playing the
pad.
super long?
It's not super long, but
The one I
Dick's,
filmed.
yes.
come film again.
No.
I
He doesn't want to walk the hills, buddy.
know.
I'd
Yeah,
walk the hills. I'm not going to spend the time and edit
That,
that.
hey man,
yeah,
there's a
fair.
reason why I told you we're not going to our party spot Saturday night. We're gonna go to a hotel and put our
Yeah.
feet up because you,
So
you and
you're
I have
saying Bluegill is like a Western Michigan hilly course? I'm good at
uh
those.
hold on, let me
Tell them
get
to watch
it.
the. You can watch the coverage on Crew 42 and get
There
an
you go.
idea of what the course looks like.
Fair enough.
Shameless plug.
Hey, that's fine.
That
I'll get
was that
you. I
was a
mean,
great shameless plug, by the way.
I'll get you
Rit
by not very many because you'll beat me at L. I think I'll get you at
Ooh.
Bluegill, but I'm not great at L, honestly. I don't know
Well,
for
let's
whatever
put it
reason.
this way. If I'm within two or three of you after Bluegill, you're done. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I gotta get the work done.
there's a really good chance that you're up by 10 after one against me on Bluegill.
That's what I'm hoping.
I'm gonna be pulling out that 280 foot bomb right down the middle, and that's all I can hope for. And yeah, with that note, hey, thanks for watching. If you're still one of the 22 people
Real
that
quick,
watch this, oh, I'm sorry.
hey, R.I.P. My grandpa George just had his memorial. He's a good man.
Hell yeah, Grandpa George came up to me at my wedding day and shoved $100 bill in my pocket and just kept walking by. That's that man's a
And
legend.
congratulations, Andrew and Lindsay.
Andrew and
That's
Lindsay, two good souls
yep.
united. Love it. Love it. All right, until next week, or yeah, we'll talk about
Yep. Just
Des
made.
Moines. We'll talk about
Just
Des
yep.
Moines.
Des Moines? Des Moines.
Did it turn off? No.